All right, so firstly, I have to address something that my sister said. So one, I don't sell drugs illegally, and not to them. Two, I did wear dresses when I was a kid, and I look damn good in them too. I'm just saying, I look pretty damn good. All right, now that we got that out of the way, nhớ rằng cho ý chồng là chỉ cái tin in cha không như从零做读我就咩整给咩路适合都巩固cho graduation party you know cú halu mong chỉ cho mấy là thảo mấy cho sao đi cha on đây nó cú sa ha cho cú na hát gì vì mua mấy cú chăm mua nữa nó ha cú thọ我常做cú chăm mua ha cú tu cú bu我没帮趁刚cú春节mong cú有哈鲁米个没识了在里干啥cú all right so I am so very happy that every one of you have gathered here with me to celebrate with my family today my completion of training to become a physician. Over the last decade, I think the most common question I got from family and friends that I haven't seen in a while are you finally a real doctor yet? And then I say, kinda, but, and then I go into like a 10-minute long rant explaining what my training is, what residency is, and then after all that, they usually just nod their head in confusion because it makes no sense and it's very complicated. But I get that because my education and training took a very long time. For me, it took 13 years. 4 years of undergrad at Michigan State, and then 1 year working in the emergency department for experience, and then 4 more years of medical school at Michigan State. And then I stuck around again another 4 years for psychiatry residency training. Now, I know for those thinking of becoming a medical doctor that may seem like a long time, but do not let that dissuade you from becoming a medical doctor if that is what you're truly passionate about. I always get so excited when I meet another Hmong person and they tell me they're interested in becoming a physician. I'm like, oh nice, so what major are you studying? Have you finished the MCAT? Have you looked at medical schools yet? Here's my email, here's my contact info. Contact me if you need anything, all right? And then they always look at me thinking I'm crazy because they're probably like, why is this guy so aggressively trying to network with me? But that's because we need more Hmong doctors. I really do think that. And we need to support one another to make that happen. Because I'm okay with people thinking I'm crazy as long as they know that they have someone they can reach out to for mentorship. But I also feel like I don't run into that many Hmong people who want to become doctors anymore. It must be because everyone wants to become YouTubers and influencers. You know, the times have changed. But all that aside, the message I wanted to relay was that follow your hopes and dreams because that will take you very far. And don't be discouraged by what lies ahead because no path in life is easy. You just gotta find what path is worthwhile for you. Now, in medicine, there are a lot of different specialties. You have family doctors who do a little bit of everything. You have surgeons who operate on people's bodies, oncologists who cure cancer. And then you have psychiatrists who are medical doctors that specialize in mental health. For those who don't know, psychiatry is different from psychology. Those are two very different fields. Psychiatrists have an extensive medical background. We can prescribe medications and we can do therapy. Now, I share all of this because it's important to know what the differences are, and I think it's important to know, for Hmong people to know what it is. It's funny because when I told my parents I wanted to become a doctor, they were like, oh wow, yeah, woo, that's awesome. And then when I told them I wanted to become a psychiatrist, they were like, what's that? Psychiatry? Are you gonna have a job, King? Are you even gonna have patients? Do people need that? But I don't blame them. Because in the Hmong community, mental health is kind of swept under the rug and not talked about too much. And this is largely due to stigma, the worry that if one has a mental illness that they'll be shamed or seen as weak or stupid, things like that. And then because of that, they don't reach out for help, and then they suffer in silence. In the worst case scenario, this could lead to murder, suicide, drug addiction, and so on, and many other scary things. And that's not how it should be. And that is one of many reasons why I chose this field, to try to make a difference in the community. So as a quick plug, if you or someone you know is going through something, know that there are resources out there, professionals who can help you through that. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Now, taking a step back, becoming a medical doctor was a long-time dream of mine, and not only was it a dream of mine, but as my dad alluded to, it was a dream of my parents as well. My parents, they sacrificed a lot. They were born in the middle of the Vietnam War, and then they found solace in the refugee camps of Thailand. And then they had 4 children at a young age, and when they had the chance, they immigrated over here to the States. And then once in the States, they had to learn English and adapt to the new westernized culture, while finding jobs, earning an education, and putting a roof over our heads and feeding poor kids. And then on top of that, they decided to have 2 more kids. I don't know why they decided to do that. That just made things way more difficult for everyone, but you'll have to ask them. But all of that just really displayed like that, hard immigrant work mentality. And I remember that being on display even as a kid. So as a funny side story, when me and my sisters were kids, like maybe we were 8 or 9 or 10, my dad, he would have us learn to type. My dad was like, yeah, you guys are all gonna learn to type because you guys are gonna need this when you guys are older. It's gonna be like a skill set that you need. And then my dad was also like, the winner, whoever types the fastest and most accurate, wins McDonald's. So all of us kids were like, yeah, we want McDonald's. We didn't care about earning skills for the future. We didn't care about careers as kids. We just wanted McDonald's because we were broke and McDonald's was a delicacy when we were kids. So then I learned to type really, really fast. And it's funny because nowadays with my job, half of my job is typing. I see the patient and then I sit on my computer and type the note. So that really prepared me for that. And I just thought that was kind of funny. But also, there were many times when I won as a kid and my dad never followed up and bought me McDonald's. So Dad, you still owe me McDonald's? I want a Big Mac with extra fries, all right? Remember that, you still owe me. So yeah, it's been a long journey. I can't say it was all roses and sunshine. It was a tough journey. I had my fair share of difficult days. From doing bad on an exam to 8-hour study marathons to that random sense of dread of, am I ever gonna be done with this, with my training? I went through all those emotions. And every time I felt like giving up, I thought of my parents. What would they do if they were in my position? And I knew the answer. They would persevere. They would continue moving forward, not losing sight of the goal. And that mindset really helped me through some tough times over these last 13 years. Not only that, but my parents, they modeled many other traits that I really admired and picked up throughout the years. And these traits I'm about to highlight, have played a pivotal role in where I am today. And I feel like these traits have really helped me become a really good psychiatrist too. The trait I wanted to highlight for my dad is having a sense of community. And from my mom is empathetic kindness. We'll start with my dad. A sense of community. For those who know him, you've probably seen him at a Hmong event, helping coordinate whatever is going on. You've probably had him MC at your Hmong event. And when he MCs, he's always very clever and injects some sort of edgy humor. I'm not that good at that. That's why I have a script. If I didn't have a script, I'd probably sound like I was having a stroke or something. So that's why I look at this thing here. But my dad does it really well. But my dad, he's always involved in something. He's always like, hey son, consider showing up here if you can. Donate some money to that funeral. Come volunteer here. He was always doing something and giving back. And it gave him purpose and meaning. That inspired me to find where I belonged in my community. Because it feels good to be a part of something. In the Hmong community, I ended up getting involved with the Hmong American Student Association at Michigan State. And then I got involved with the Great Lakes Hmong Association. And it felt good, like working with very bright-minded people and giving back. And for those who aren't actively involved in the Hmong community, or if you're still trying to find a community of your own, that's okay. Go through the motions of life and put yourself out there, and you'll eventually find where you belong. Now, from my mother, I learned the importance of patience and kindness. My mom, she's a very, very patient soul because she had to deal with me. Apparently, when I was a kid, I was very bratty and needy, but if you ask me, I thought that I was the perfect kid, but my sisters say otherwise. But dealing with me and dealing with 5 other kids just really demonstrated what it means to be patient. Because patience is about keeping your cool when things don't go your way. So it's really important to stay calm and kind of roll with the punches, and that's what my mom did. And although she didn't execute things perfectly all the time, she was always well-intentioned and compassionate. I remember in elementary school, I had a Game Boy Color, and it would use AA batteries to run. And I would always find all the AA batteries in the house to play Pokemon. And I would sometimes end up stealing the AA batteries from the remote control. So a lot of times the remote control wasn't working, and it was because of me. So I'm sorry for 20, 30 years ago. But yeah, my mom, she knew that I was seeking out these batteries, and my mom knew that I had a bad nail biting habit. So then she came up with this. She was like, Ken, if I go to the gas station and buy you AA batteries, you gotta promise me to not bite your nails ever again. And I was like, yeah, I can do that, easy. And you know what? It worked for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then I went back to my nail biting habit. But I share that story because my mom, she used kindness to reward me. And I think that that's just very reflective of who she is. One more anecdote about that matter. So when I graduated college, 10 years ago now, I had applied for a job as a medical scribe. And at that time, every job that I applied for and most things I did, I did successfully. So I felt really confident with my first job out of college. I applied for this job, they sent me to Chicago, I did the training, I was there for a couple of days. And then I show up and boom, I'm hit with remembering all this medical jargon, learning all these different algorithms. And then before the training was done, they had sent me home. I didn't make the cut. I was devastated. I felt like a failure. It was my first job out of college, and I just couldn't do it. I remember crying on the plane ride home. I arrived at Flint Bishop Airport. I cried there too. And it wasn't just your normal cry. It was like one of like your ugly cries, you know, like you know when you're a kid and you get spanked by your mom and you're like, and you're like, your nose is running, you know, and you're not able to make a sentence. That was me the whole time. And then it was my mom who picked me up from the airport. And this was one of my lowest lows in my adulthood life, and my mom witnessed it. I honestly didn't know what to expect. But on that ride home, I remember it was silent. And then at one point, all she says is, "It'll be okay, Ken." I got home, I went straight to the living room, still crying, and then I cried myself to sleep. But then I would see my mom come into the living room to check up on me every now and then or throughout the night. She didn't overdo it, and she didn't underdo it. She read the scene, and she knew what she had to do, and it was just enough. But she was right. It did turn all out all right, because I accepted a job somewhere else. I got it. I eventually got to medical school, and now here I am. So yeah, being kind and compassionate can go a long way, because on someone's worst day, it can make a world of difference. Again, I can't thank my parents enough for their wisdom and for the help in getting me to where I am today. And thank you all for coming out and celebrating with us. I'm the last thing between you guys and food, so now I am done. And yeah, let's enjoy this evening together. Thank you all. I'm sorry, I lied. Lee might have one or two more words. She's the last thing between you guys and food. Blame her, not me. Kidding.
Nhớ sau cho là cho chị há cho cái tin anh trai sẽ thay nhỏ cô nạp khó lưu ô nhá xứ nhớ cho hồi chuyện hết mong cử chỉ có trong sáng hè há ở trong mấy số mấy số thứ mấy chuyện to chẳng can há chuyện to trong là tạo ok trong sáng cho kề không graduate nữa nó há thì cô chỉ muốn lấy chỉ hàng tao há tới chỉ chơi do hãy lưu ở trong mấy sự là mấy chuyện to trong nó xứ ấy ở trong tao.
Well, congratulations, Dr. King.
bạn ơi sa keng yo chi sa mua cho chê đừng lưu là cho trong chê chỉ tao cả sa hoa tất cả tu nhiều à chia vì hai tia tu lưu có ý lên chỉ muốn ấy tu yêu lưu bao 陪不谁要我的家。不是呀，我就好，演个做多高，演个做多高，看下天尽头。我家里有几种零食，三人和三个，那不愿打个，不骂打个，不愿打个，不骂打个。都找到了。
No matter the distance, I want you to know that he's down inside of me. You are